Hey, Black girl. Welcome back to another episode of Black Girls Getting Their Shift Together. My name is Ursula, and I'm just a Black girl trying to get my shift together. But tonight is going to be real good. You know, get your wine or your water or some sodas, your favorite elixir. And we're going to have a nice girlfriend chit chat. But this is the first of many tribe vibes from Black girls getting their shift together. So I'm really happy you all are tuning in. But before we get started, we are going to talk about self-care. But I know you all have heard about self-care before, but the great thing about tonight's episode is because I know y'all used to me, but you're going to have four different perspectives. And guess what? They're all going to be in different decades of people's lives. So, of course, I'll be in the 20-year-old range, but okay, maybe not. However, we are going to have different perspectives. So the beauty about this is that there's no wrong perspectives. It's just different perspectives. But I know each person will benefit from every one of us. So yes, if you all have any comments, respectfully drop them in the chat. But before we do that, let's get into this intro.
This for the queens, sisters manifesting their dreams. Get your cream by any means and beam with self-esteem. Beauty supreme and Buddha walk so mean. The way you fit in them jeans, you eat your cornbread and greens. Dance or a doctor, red wine or vodka. Redesign your spot and redefine your mantra. Retwist your locks and realign your chakras. Doing your squats and getting closer to God, huh? Brunching with your squad or taking a girl's trip. Adjust your crown, you guys give to the world, sis. Celestial body, drink your water. Meditate, sun kiss goddess, heavenly order. Levitate, tribe of Ashanti, black girl magic, melanin popping, whether you ratchet or lavish, whether you bougie or savage, you a gift and a treasure. You got to love a black girl getting a shift together. Black girls are getting a shift together. These black girls getting a shift together, man. These black girls are getting a shift together. These black girls getting a shift together, dog.
All right, we are back. All right, tonight's topic is self-care. All right, so we're going to have different perspectives, but before we get into it, here's a little housekeeping. Right now, if you can hear my voice, show some support. Just hit that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. Hitting that subscribe button and the like button is really letting me know that you are really vibing with the tribe that we are having going on tonight. If it's the replay, make sure to type replay in the comment section and let me know what city, state you all are tuning in from. Just so we'll know where all this love is coming from. But I would really love for you all to hit that subscribe button. Also, on the audio podcast, where there's a lot of new people in the chat already, just to let you know, Black girls getting their shift together. The audio podcast is now global. So we're at over 100,000 downloads. So if you have relatives, they're all across the country, the globe, everywhere. Go ahead and share this podcast because we want to know what self-care looks like across the world. Remember, there are no wrong ways. It's just different perspectives. All right. Oh, yeah. And a 5-star review on the audio would be great as well. Okay. Because we want to get these algorithms up so that they can see how this whole tribe of Black women, of Black girls getting their shift together and how we express our self-care. But I need you to do that. All right. Now, I have some beautiful panelists that are in the waiting room. And we all have some kind of ties towards each other. This is why I know you all are really going to love this particular episode because everybody's connected in some kind of way. So, ladies, are you ready for me to get you out of the? Yeah, I already see it. I'll surprise you. I will start with the network, the nucleus of the group, since you connected us all together.
Hello. Hi.
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm so excited to be here.
Girl, it's only been 3-4 times since you've been on here.
I know, right?
So
I know. Every time feels like the first time.
Does it? Really? I can accept that. I can accept that. Well, I'm glad to have you back. And for those who do not know, I have Viola on. I'll have to put the link. We've been together several times talking about mental health and wellness. So I'll put our links. All right. Aquana, you are on deck.
Hey, ladies. Hi, everyone.
Hey, Aquana. Long time no see.
Long time no see.
I was just at Aquana's
I was
office.
about to say, it's been a whole half an hour.
A whole half an hour. And rounding up the anchor is Deidra. Hey, Dee.
Hey, how y'all doing?
Good.
I'm
Again,
so
thank
jealous, y'all.
Why?
Everybody's in the A.
well, you know what that means then, right?
Yes,
Understand?
I gotta make my way back around there.
You need to
Exactly.
self-care your way on down here.
Absolutely.
There we
I'm
go.
on it.
So we have a lot of people already that are logging in. Make sure you all hit that subscribe button and especially the bell so you know whenever I drop another Tribe Vibe, you'll be right there with everyone. Also, Viola, you want to tell everybody a little bit about you? For those who do not know who are new to this Tribe Vibe.
Viola Borden. I'm a licensed professional counselor. I've been doing counseling now for about, since 2019. Oh, I can't believe it's been that long. I recently started my own practice. It's been almost a year.
Congratulations.
It's been a lot of work. So talking about self-care, you hitting it right here because starting a practice from the ground up by yourself, self-care is one of the things I definitely had to focus on.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. And we'll get into that as well. Aquana, can you tell everybody about yourself?
My name is Aquana Raffington, and I am a growth strategist life coach. I work alongside of the beautiful Viola at her practice, Eyewitness Counseling. She forgot to add that. As well as a
That's why I got you.
multi-business. That's right. As well as a multi-business owner. Self-care is I had to learn how to take moments. So, I'm definitely here for all of self.
Thank you. Dee, do you want to tell everybody about yourself?
Yes. Hi, guys. I am a married mom of a 16-year-old boy, so y'all pray for me, please.
Oh, yes.
Who plays AAU basketball, so I'm continuously busy chasing around him, husband, putting other people in front of myself. So self-care is something I am rediscovering. So thank you. So we can talk about this topic and get to it. I also created a Facebook group called Moments of Transparency. Supposed to be a safe space for women to come together, support and encourage each other, get information, things like that. So feel free to join.
I did last night.
Yay!
And I'm going to.
Yes.
Been a member.
Welcome.
All right, let's get into this thing we call self-care. Again, it has so many facets, but I'm going to just read a little snippet and you all just let me know what your thoughts are on it, okay? So self-care. Let's take this off 1 second. Let's see. All right. What is self-care? Self-care is a daily holistic wellness practice that accounts for emotional, mental, social, and spiritual health. Aquana, you just talked about this. I love it. Self-care validates your needs, allowing you to honor your goals, beliefs, relationships, and overall existence. And fulfilling your needs helps you manage stress, something you can hear it in the back. Yes. Fight physical ailments and increase positive emotions. Woo!
That's a lot.
It is. Why is it a
That's
lot?
That's a lot.
who would have ever thought, right?
Right.
Why do you say it's a lot, Viola?
It's a lot when we're talking spiritual, social, emotional, physical. You wouldn't think that just taking care of yourself, right,
Right.
encompasses all of that
Right.
and creates positive emotions, affects your relationships. That's a lot. Yeah, just by taking care of yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'll admit, before I started to learn myself, which it hasn't stopped, but
Mhm.
before I was just walking around with my eyes wide shut, I thought
Mhm.
that self-care was the candles and the bubble baths, which it
Mhm.
is, but
Mhm.
I didn't realize that, hey, there's also self with the capital S. It just literally went over my head. I never thought about that. So
Mhm.
that's why I'm so glad that the four of us can talk about something more than just the topical, but how it
Mhm.
is
Yes.
from within. Yes. And to keep it real, sometimes people may not have the financial aspect of getting all the bubble bath and candles. So, but if you're relying
Mhm.
on other things, you always have yourself.
Absolutely.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think
Yep.
that's important. You hit it because if it looks like a certain thing, right, with a price tag on it, and if I can't afford that, then what? I can't afford to take care of myself.
Mhm.
I
Mhm.
can't afford the bubbles and the candles and the champagne, right? Does that mean, right? So
Mhm.
absolutely. And that's just a part of it. You know what I mean?
It
For
is.
someone else, that may not really be consider self-care for someone else. That's why I like that
Absolutely.
we're having so many different perspectives and what self-care looks like for
Mhm.
different people. Yeah.
Right.
I think for me, navigating so much because I'm a mom of 6, and then also having multiple businesses, and
Mhm.
also trying to be like a very present wife, right?
Mhm.
Like it's one thing to be in a relationship, but it's another thing to be present in that relationship and always trying to be consciously present. I find that I can't rely on self-care days. I have to learn how to take self-care moments.
Moment. Yep.
Mhm.
Look like taking a few extra minutes in the toilet, because that's the
Right.
only place that I
Mhm.
feel like I can get privacy without a kid needing something or without somebody else needing something. So I'm just activating moments as they come along and hope that those moments can collectively give me what I need for self, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
It
Oh,
makes
it
total
makes
It does.
sense.
perfect sense. And Dee Dee,
Mhm.
before I go to you next, I ask everyone in the chat, let me back that up. I ask everybody that's in this tribe,
Hey.
Yes. Get it right.
if you all can put in the chat, what does self-care mean to you? Or what do
Mhm.
you do for your own self-care? And if you
Mhm.
don't practice it, it's okay, because we're going to get some tips tonight.
Right.
What do
Mhm.
you envision self-care that looks like for you?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Remember, there's different perspectives. We're not here to say anything is wrong. And we can learn from you all as well. You just never know.
Absolutely.
Never
Something we
know.
might not think about.
Exactly.
Exactly.
And yeah, so go ahead, Dee Dee. What about you?
Well, like you, I thought self-care was for a woman looked like making a hot bubble bath, getting a glass of wine, just having your candles and stuff. So, like you said, I never really had the time, especially when my child was small, to just take that time for myself. By the end of the day, I'm exhausted. I'm going to bed. Now that I'm in therapy, which I encourage,
Mhm.
I, I had
Mm.
my therapist ask me, she said, "How often do you ask yourself how you're doing?" And I was like, I don't. So something
Mm.
as simple as just taking a moment to, hey, how you doing right now? What do you need right now in this moment? Is
Mm.
self-care. Like
Mm.
it
Mhm.
doesn't have to be expensive. It doesn't
Mm.
have to be elaborate. It doesn't have to be all day. You could just take a moment and ask yourself, what do I need right now in this moment? Do I need peace? Okay, I
Mm.
need to find a way to make peace for myself. Do I
Absolutely.
need to get something done? Well, while I'm getting something done, doing the laundry, which I hate, I play my music and I'm dancing around doing my laundry and I'm getting it done. So for me, it was made simple and more obtainable when I realized it's not just one thing or one part of you.
Mhm.
And from what I'm hearing now, that costs nothing. You didn't have to go to the
Right.
store. You had
Right.
everything right there. And
Mhm.
I know you said you hate doing laundry, but do you mind doing my laundry? It's different. Oh, too.
Why you get your dance routine on?
Right.
Right.
I got a bunch of water right here. I'll give you some water if you get dehydrated.
But you
Got
know
y'all
what? I
on
don't
out.
know if it's just me, but doesn't doing something for somebody else that you hate doing for yourself feel different?
It does feel
It really
different.
does. It
Like,
does.
what
Maybe
is
that's why it's
that?
easier for us as women to do. Always doing for others, putting them first, not
Yeah,
taking
it
a moment for
is.
yourself. It's easier to do for others than to really sit down and evaluate, like, what do I need? You know? So,
Right.
Mhm.
So speaking of that, what are some myths that people have of self-care? I know we talked about that it looks like bubble baths and candles, but are there any other myths that may come to mind?
Oh, I have one.
Oh, me
let's
too, but
do
you
it.
go first.
Self-care is selfish.
Mm, mm.
Ooh.
Oh my goodness. I tell clients all the time, self-care is not selfish. It's not selfish. I think we feel I tell people we're taught from the time we're really, really young to put other people ahead of ourselves. We're
Yeah.
trained almost in a sense, right? To consider other people. So we immediately we think, taking that extra hour or being specific about doing something for ourselves, buying ourselves that thing, you know what I mean, or whatever it looks like for us, that to some degree is selfish.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
So I think
Ooh.
that's a myth.
that's a good one.
Yeah, I grew
My
up with
myth
that.
is beauty equals self-worth. So I think that
Ooh.
we put so much effort in our outer in hopes that it will fuel a self-esteem, right? Or a self-worth in us. And we're like, I gave myself self-care. I went and got my hair done. And we're stuck there, but inside self don't feel good. So constant like self-evaluation can continuously change that. Like Dee Dee said, like what does self need? That's
Mhm.
you have to be in an evaluation mindset to even ask yourself that question
I
because we're
like
so
that.
conditioned.
Mhm.
I like
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
That's a good one.
absolutely. So you're saying like just stopping at the outer.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Don't just stop at the outer. Like, of course, we all want to look good, but knowing that physical appearance doesn't define that
Right.
self-worth.
Mhm.
Ooh.
Even
Absolutely.
if my hair don't look good, or I can't afford to go to the hairdresser, or I don't feel like doing my hair, that doesn't mean that I get to neglect my self-worth, right? My working
Right.
on that inner.
Mhm. Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's pushed on women a lot.
Mhm.
exactly. Um, so you all know I work, don't say it, my fun part-time job, right?
Yes.
So the reason why I don't want to say who this person is, but it is some semi-celebrity down here, right? And they come to the place of employment and beautiful, beautiful woman. But her attitude is so nasty. And it just takes away from the physical part of it. So
Mhm.
I really believe that the self-care, how you treat yourself, because if she treats us like that, you can imagine how she must talk to herself. And it just
Yeah.
comes out. But if you just see her off the street, I mean, she is absolutely gorgeous. So
Mhm.
there is, I call it leakage. Like it does come out. It
Mhm.
really does. Um, you know what? Can I read some of these comments?
Of course.
Listeners,
Absolutely.
you're part of the tribe. I'm getting to you right now. You all are the fifth guest right here. So we have someone named Hey Brandy Booth. She said so beautifully put. It could have been to any one of us. I don't know, but thank you.
I think we will all accept that.
Yes. Okay, Ziggy Sway. I like that name. Hey, Ziggy Sway. I love what Dee Dee said to make boring things fun.
That's right. Hey.
Yeah.
That's true. Ziggy also said, talk nice to me,
Ooh.
stuff talk.
Self-talk.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
And,
that's a good one.
and speaking of
Mhm.
yes, we have Naya D said, yes, Black Queens. High fives. And Anaya said she can't wait, so excited. And hey, Lala Chanel. She said, hey, y'all.
Hey.
So, you all are the fifth part of this tribe as well. So you all continue to please commenting in the chat just so we can see what your input is, what you feel about self-care, how it looks, and and what you do for self-care. So we're gonna go back to what Dee Dee said about the selfish part of a myth. Why do you think women stop putting themselves first when it comes to self-care?
I think we're taught as when we're younger, like women are just naturally taught to be nurturers and to take care of because we're going to be the moms. So I think it's easy to, it's just naturally taught to us and it's naturally in us as well, especially when you do have children that depend on you. You have to take care of them. You know what I mean? So as you get older, it's your spouse, then it's your children, then we're duty bound as well. So it becomes our job. It becomes running the errands. And, we're not necessarily taught to put ourselves first. It wasn't really a popular thing. Mental health is kind of a new thing becoming important to us. So it wasn't really taught. But, this generation's like, no, we're switching that. We're teaching our children. We're starting it over. So, I like the movement that we're not standing for it anymore and we're changing it. But that's why it's so easy because we get it from young. We're not taught to value ourselves off top.
Anyone else want to chime in on that?
I think societal norms also add to that. Like I think about the song Let Me Cater to You because baby this is your day. Like when mind you, when it comes on, I'm vibing. But then my conscience self be like, girl, what's wrong with you? Hold on 1 second. Okay, what you mean puff lace off? No, ma'am. And I'm not saying that is not a great thing to do to your man, but just that level of
intentionality,
that willingness to be subservient to another human being could be dangerous because it's like an ATM machine. Every time I go in to pull out, if I'm not being replenished, if money is not going back in that ATM, then I'm going to go bankrupt. So if it's reciprocated, of course, let me cater to you. Let us cater to we, right? Hey, let's cater to we, baby. But it just, I just think that societal norms play a major role in barefoot and pregnant, like all of those myths of just who you are as a woman, who you should be as a woman. Let's say it that way. So again, we're taught don't be selfish. We're taught that taking care of yourself is a form of selfishness, but it's really like a selflessness. So we go to the other extreme. Can we find a happy medium? Like again, can we cater to we? But that's just my opinion on that. My husband is not on here because he probably like, yep, because she don't cater to me.
That ain't true. That is not true. Y'all don't believe her. Don't believe her.
No, I'm joking.
Very
We cater to each other.
But I will say I love the way that you do cater to each other.
Yes. Thank you.
That's hilarious. Aquana has been in my head all for the past 24 hours. It is bizarre because I actually was going to say the same thing with the societal, but I'm gonna switch it up just a little bit. Okay. I also think subconsciously, the media, not even social media, but the media, I believe. Okay, so I'm not a movie person. I don't watch TV as much, so I'm not gonna say the names because I don't know, but I've seen pictures. But when you see characters in movies, like way back, even starting from remember Gone with the Wind with the Mamie with
Miss
the star.
Charlotte.
You see, I don't even know the movie's names except that one. Yeah, that
Gone with the Wind.
Right, or The Hell. or
Mm.
think of
Oh, it's
any other.
Charlotte. My bad.
Who?
Mm.
Charlotte. I said Charlotte.
Yeah. But when we see, especially with Black women, you see us always
Yes.
in that helping role, just
Yeah.
always there. And I'm just going to keep it real because all of those maid movies, they didn't look like they practiced self care. They
Mhm.
didn't look like they
No.
had any sex appeal and asexual. No, like they just
Mhm.
didn't to me. It could have to other
Mhm.
people, but it was almost safe looking because they're always tending to other people, and they didn't look like they took care of themselves. They didn't look bad, but they looked more in a comfortable role taking care of someone else. And
Someone
that's
else.
Absolutely.
Mhm.
and I know it's a character, but let's keep it real. We've all grown up with those same characters that are in
Yes.
our family, or
Yes.
even been that ourselves.
Mhm.
But it's a character, but you have to think about the influence that it
Right.
has. You know what I mean? Years and years and years. They talked about the little skinny models and how that had influence on women
Mhm.
always thinking that they had to be slim. It's the same
Mhm.
thing. And for years, all we saw in the media and in the movies were maids, Black people taking care of other people, taking care of other people's children, not even their own children. You know what I
Yes.
mean? Their own children was running around with hair
Yes.
nappy and dirty, and they were taking care of other people's children and catering to other people for years. That's all we saw in the media. So yeah, you're right. I do believe that that has an influence to some degree. Things
Absolutely.
have changed and we fast forwarded, where it looks a lot different. But what does it look like now? You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Almost to the sense that you don't even necessarily see self-care. You just see these extra fancy women with money, right? The
Right.
housewives, and they got this and they got. How do they get there? How do they maintain every day? How do they keep their mental sanity? They don't talk about,
Mhm.
right, self-care. They just show money, 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 money is the answer, right? Get this
Yep.
money, got basketball wives, got right. But what about the self-care? You know what I mean? What do you do on a daily
Right.
basis to maintain when you have a husband that's on the road all the time and you have to be home taking care of the kid? Let's talk. Let's get into it.
Let's
They don't
get
show that.
into it. Yes.
Well, Lala's gonna get right into it. She
Okay,
said
well,
we have to put on our own oxygen
That
mask
part.
first before we save others.
Mhm.
Yeah.
yes.
Every single day, I talk to my clients about that every day.
Yeah.
I
You
love
gotta put
that.
on your own mask first. You have to.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I love that. Um, you all listening in the chat, if you are part of this self-care movement, I want you to put a 1 in the chat just so I can
Mhm.
see, if you all are part of this movement. Because I know it's not just the 4 of us. Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So Ziggy, as we wait on the 1s in the chat to come in, Ziggy said, writers like Issa Rae and others are redefining freedoms of Black women in scripted TV so we can be different for our next generation. That goes right back to what Dee Dee said.
You're
Yep.
correct. We're
Yep.
not
The
Absolutely.
doing it
movement.
no more.
That's right.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Isn't
Here
that
come the
something?
ones. Here come the ones.
Yay.
Yes.
Brittany, shout out to
Aw.
Aquana, my mentor.
Hi, Brittany.
I love it. Yes, Aquana is everything.
Aw.
Everything. Yeah. So enlightening. Thanks to you, Viola, for the
I
connection.
just,
Look, shout out to my mentor, Viola. Hey, the gift
listen,
that keeps on giving.
listen, I just knew all I needed to do
Everyone.
was make the space for you two. That was it. Just make the introduction. You know what I mean? And I knew that you guys would hit it off. Yeah.
Oh, that made me think of something just now. May I interject, ladies?
Yes.
Yes.
What you just said, Viola, about making the space for how Aquana and I met. I also look at that as self-care. Aquana,
I
we
was thinking
touched
the
up.
same thing. I
Hmm.
was literally just thinking the same
Yeah.
thing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Having
And
agree.
that.
that's the thing too. Surrounding yourselves around friends, mentors in a circle that understands that you may not know what yourself need, but when I love you and our hearts connect, I know what you need. So I am going to try to aid in supplying that need. And that's what real friendship is about, because the journey through life, it's not an easy one. It's not an easy one. And you need good people around you that's like, I hear you, I see you, right? And then they're connecting in their worlds and they like, hold on, my cousin and my friend actually would really hit it off. Let me make the introduction, right? And that's her doing her part and letting God do what he do. But at least she was willing to be obedient and just make the connection.
Absolutely.
I was thinking that was a myth too, that you have to be by yourself for self-care. Not necessarily.
That's good, Dee Dee. That's really good.
Yeah.
That's
You don't have
really
to be by
good.
yourself. What if you're somebody that comes alive in a group? You work from home all day and that's your self-care. You know, you go out and do a group activity with like-minded people, things like that. So self-care is an array of things for
It
different
really
people.
is.
And that we do not have to, just because, okay, you don't have to base a friendship off of the quantity of years, but really the quality of it. And that it's okay. And I'm actually going to I have an upcoming show and I'll just drop it now. The topic is no new friends. And I do not subscribe to that, because think about it. If you have this, nothing's wrong with having the same friends, but what about introducing new friends or people you're friendly with? You'll have different perspectives, some things you just would have never thought about. But from the cradle to the grave of friendship, and hold that.
Let me ask you guys, why do you think, well, that's probably getting into a whole nother show, but why do you guys think that is? Why do you think that is, that people feel like no new friends?
I think they're guarded, and I think that the hurts, the unhealed, the unwillingness to feel that pain again, right? To navigate, because when you think about like acing a test or studying for that test, and that exam is like, it's exhausting, it's hurting your head, it's taking you away from your family. But when you hone in and you actually pass that test, you elevate to your next level. And I think for a lot of people, they get stuck in the hurt that friendship brings, because it's a relationship, right? And it brings up something that hurts. So the easiest thing to do is to isolate myself and no new friends. I'ma just rely on me. I don't need nobody. Let me know how that works out.
Right.
I think that you can't grow. I think
cannot.
you deciding that where you are is where you're going to be, and you don't have no need to elevate, or grow anymore. And I think that people grow us, people push us, even people who we feel like we might not have the best positive experience with, how we navigate that, right? Teaches us something about ourselves, right? We always are in a position to learn something new. So if you're saying no new friends, and I guess that kind of comes down to the term of friends too.
That part
right?
too.
Yeah, friends, it depends, right? So, but yeah, I think that you'll never grow any more than you are at this present moment if you don't make space for new people.
Absolutely.
Agreed. Yeah.
I love that. Great perspectives. And look how, even though Viola, you know what I'm trying to say, even though Viola and we reconnected as adults, but look how that reconnection, it went beyond just our connection.
Absolutely.
That
Absolutely.
ripple effect just kept going and going, and it's been great. Okay, Lala's back. Let's see what Lala has to say. She said, surrounding yourself with like-minded people helps you be accountable, which is another part of self-care.
That part.
Do you all agree?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yes.
I think it ties into that self-evaluation thing, accountability, knowing one of my things of self-care is like every day I'm going to learn something new. But I can't learn something new if I'm in my old circles, if I'm rolling around the same minded people. Like in order for me to do that, I have to challenge myself to step into new places, to reach new opportunities, to learn new things. Even if it's just me scrolling in a Facebook group, I don't have to necessarily go somewhere, but I'm going to do something different today that I didn't do yesterday. And that's how I activate my self-care, because I want to expand my mind so I can expand my soul.
Ooh.
Like it's bigger. It's bigger than no new friends. No, bring all the friends. And for me, self-care is setting boundaries, right? So I have to learn how to create circles within a circle, right? We talked about this, Viola, like creating a circle within a circle. So understanding that I am a heartfelt person. Like my makeup is 80% give. But the reality is I need 80% to live. So something wrong. There's a disconnect, Aquana. You're going to have to bring that balance down some. And the only way I was able to do that is I had to create two circles. I have an intimate circle and I have an outer circle.
Right.
Now, depending on who you are and how you've proved yourself to me, because I had to go through a self-evaluation to understand my value, that dictates what circle you reside in. And now I'm creating those boundaries of self to make sure that you can't take me out of the scope of choosing you over me. I'm gonna always choose me. I'm gonna always choose me.
That's a big one.
The question becomes, did I put you in a predicament to believe that me choosing me was something wrong with me? Because either way, it go back to accountability. That's a me problem. That's not a them problem. I did that to myself. And I think that's the thing. She's so right. That self-accountability can save us from so many different things.
Yeah.
Well, I think that when you get in the habit of abandoning yourself, right? And we're taught to abandon ourselves, right? We're held accountable to answer to everybody else for everything that we do towards or for other people or don't do, right? But nowhere are we taught to be held accountable to answer for ourselves, for how we treat ourselves, who we subject ourselves to, right? What we refrain from doing or going after, right? We're not taught to be held accountable. We wait for someone else, and then let somebody else try to come and tell you and hold you accountable. We got a problem with that too. We do. Let's just get real here, right?
Yes.
We do. But we're not taught to be accountable to self.
Yeah.
That is so true.
That is so deep. Yes.
Yeah. But you know, Aquana, that circle, that inner circle that you were talking about, the difference between the two circles, what I think about or what I see when you're talking about it is that inner circle, right, that you've now learned to develop, right, is should be pouring back into you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That inner circle pouring back into you.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And they're also there. So if you step too far out from the inner circle, right? They there to pull you back in.
That's right. That's right. That's right. With love and grace.
With love and grace.
With love and grace. And I think that's another thing. We are so ungraceful to ourselves that we actually accept other people being like that to us.
Ooh.
Like with love, like even if it's like, girl, come on, now you know better, right? And because I know you love me, it's like, you're right, I do.
Right. But everybody in that outer circle knows so far away, you're kind of like, can I trust what you're saying? Do you really know me?
Exactly. I'm second guessing
you need something from me. You get what I'm saying?
Yes.
But when that inner circle says, you're like, ooh, yeah, I got to take that into consideration.
Yeah. Because they're a reflection of me. And if they see that in me, then I have to know that they're not looking through rose-colored glasses. They're looking through real colored glasses.
I love that. Wow. Whoa, that's good right there. That's good. All right, so we're gonna do a reboot.
Hmm.
Yes, we're gonna do a reboot. We're more than halfway through this awesome conversation. If you all haven't already, if you can make sure hit that thumbs button so we can get this algorithm out so people can discover us on YouTube, knowing that there are
Yes.
Black women that really prioritize their self-care. And I just think it's great. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. Make sure you click the bell notification so when we have another Tribe Vibe, you're going to know. And
Mm-hmm.
and definitely going deeper with this no new friends. Maybe we can come on again and do that.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
All right.
that's a good topic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's do it. So, we have a comment, Naya. You may not have realized it, but what is something new you all learned today, or is
Mm.
this week?
Mm.
Mm-hmm. Oh goodness, I learned so many things.
Well, I can answer. Today, I'm actually going to work on it tonight. Aquana had given me a link for something to look at. I have no clue what it is. I know the name and I know what it's about, but when I go into this software, that's something new that I learned or going to learn. So I am exercising my mind because it can turn into mush if I do not use it. So part of self-care is, let me back that up. Part of the self-care is to not get so comfortable.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
For me, I know it can be very easy just to veg out, but that is something I have learned or I will learn in a couple of hours later on this evening is to take time and go through it and not just lay back and scroll and doom scroll on social media. I'm gonna keep it real and honest. Anybody else want to, or I can go back to that question?
Oh, the biggest thing I think I've learned in this last month, and I probably discussed it with just about every person on the panel and to some degree or to some level, is right now I don't know if anyone heard about the huge cyber attack on the Change Healthcare. So, for a month, any sessions that I've been completing have been sitting in a pending state. And when your sessions that your claims that you file are sitting in a pending state, common sense is that means you ain't getting paid, right? For 30 days, right? 30 days worth of sessions just sitting in a pending state. What I've learned is that when times are tight, or I learned that I can make it on less than I thought I could.
Mm.
I really learned that I can make it on less than I thought I could.
Right.
I feel like my response is partially responsible for that.
Okay.
Because if I were to stress out, if I were to panic, I think that I really think that that would change the dynamic for me.
Mm.
I've been
Mm,
patient. I've been continuing to do my work, right? I don't have any control over when this Change Healthcare lifts this freeze, right? I don't know when it's going to happen, right?
okay.
But I do realize that I can make it on less than I thought.
Mhm.
That's a
Yeah.
huge lesson.
When you
Yes.
have to, you'll just be surprised what you can make happen.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Mhm. Yeah.
Well, I
Okay.
learned something new.
Let's hear
Just
it.
bringing it back to self care, I've learned recently in therapy. I liked what Aquana said about boundaries. When you
Mhm.
don't set boundaries and you let people do whatever they want to you, it's a form of self betrayal.
Mm.
Woo-hoo.
You're
Oh.
betraying yourself and you're teaching other people that it's okay to betray you. So when you don't
Mhm.
practice self-care, you're actually telling yourself you don't matter, and you're letting other people realize that, if you don't matter to yourself, they're only going to care about you as much as you care about yourself.
Okay.
You teach people how to treat you.
Right.
Yes.
You teach people, I say it all the time. You teach people how to treat you. And the crazy part about it is that I say, how can you ask somebody to do something for you you're not willing to do for yourself? How crazy is that? How
Right.
unfair is that? You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But a lot of times we do it. I mean, a lot of times we do it.
We do it. Yeah.
Yeah, we
But
do.
but you teach people how to treat you. When you abandon yourself, you're saying I don't matter. So then you go, I don't understand why I don't matter to you. Because you don't
Right.
matter to you.
Because you don't
Because
matter to
you don't
you.
matter to
You don't
you.
matter to yourself.
That
And you
part.
taught them that you don't matter. And now you're upset with them because of the way that they treat you. Right?
Right.
Because you
Mhm.
abandon yourself and you expect special care or special treatment for other
From
people.
everyone else.
Everyone else, right? So if I've already abandoned myself, I don't matter to me. You know what I mean? I don't focus on me. I'm not putting no time aside for me. I'm not treating myself
Right.
special, right? I'm not setting no boundaries, right? To show people
Mm-hmm.
that I feel worthy of protection, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
security. And then I want this person to come along and work some kind of magic. I've already taught you
Right.
How to
how to
treat
treat
me.
me.
Mm-hmm.
How can I expect from you something I'm not willing to do for myself?
Period.
Yep.
I always describe it as family jewels, right? If you and when we're talking about like boundaries and how we treat ourselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
If
Mhm.
you have family jewels, if your parents or your grandparents or great grandparents passed down this family heirloom to you, right? Would you take the family heirloom and sit it on the front lawn, right? Just plop it out there. No fence, no security, no
No.
bulletproof glass, no nothing. Would you? No, you wouldn't, right? So that's a necklace, a diamond, or whatever, right? You're gonna have it in, a bulletproof case. You're gonna have lights.
Yeah.
You're gonna have alarms. You're gonna have all this stuff, right? Why do we not do that for the South? Why
That's
is it
Exactly.
so hard for us to have boundaries? To set boundaries. Boundaries is a huge part for me of self-care.
Right.
It took me a long time to learn boundaries. I'm
Mhm.
still learning boundaries.
Me too.
Mhm.
Me too. I
You
know
know?
it was hard for me to set boundaries because when I grew up, I never saw them. It was a constant
Mhm.
state of violations, but it was so normal. Dysfunction was so normalized. I did
Right.
not think anything of it. I just thought that that's what we do.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Functioning
But
in dysfunction.
yeah, and then it bled over into my romantic relationships as well as my
Mhm.
professional
Mhm.
relationship. Hell, I didn't even have boundaries for myself at times. So I mean,
I was literally just about to say that was what I
Right.
learned. I learned how to set boundaries of self.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Boundaries are for you or for the other person. A lot of people have a
Period.
hard time setting boundaries because they say, well, the person's not going to agree, or I don't know how they're
Mhm.
going to feel about this. Or, no, listen, you have to understand that boundaries aren't just for you, right? They're not
Right.
Right.
just about protecting you, they're also about protecting somebody from you. And I say
Mhm.
Mhm.
that all the time because if a person keep pushing you, pushing you, pushing you, pushing you,
Mhm.
you're going to snap,
Mhm.
right?
Exactly.
So they're just there for protecting you, but they're also for protecting people from you.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes.
Well,
Yes. Yes.
Dee, you pop this segment off. If you can read this slide, let me know if you cannot, and I'll or one of us will read it. But can you read this next slide? It came perfectly.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Can
People
you read it
treat
out loud?
you. Yeah. People treat you exactly how they feel about you. Be blind if you want to.
Ooh.
be blind if you want to. Listen, for
Mm.
real though.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what some of
What
these.
does that mean to y'all though? Just curious.
Mm-hmm.
Because when I feel like when we say like people treat you how they want to treat you, be blind if you want to. When you're saying people, right? When you think of all of our everyday commitments,
Mhm.
so when I got to choose my words wisely. Only because I know what I be saying, but somebody might hear it and be like, she talk about me. No, I'm not. I'm talking about perspective. Okay. But just to be clear. But when those people, because I think that it's a very thin line when you are trying to prioritize self over relationships such as mother and daughters, siblings, husband and wife, or spouses, employer and employee, right? Or vice versa. People treat you how they want to. Be blind if you want to, right? But if I am being ill-treated by, let's say, my employer, right? It kind of goes into the whole match energy thing. And my employer is treating me like crap. And now I'm matching that energy. And my match energy leads me to the unemployment line, which causes a ripple effect.
This happens.
I am blind.
To some degree, you are absolutely right. Right? We have to be conscientious.
So
right?
that part, and I think like
go ahead.
I was going to say, I think that that's a very broad post. That isn't like, yes, I'm not taking that. Fight for my rights, stand up for myself. Whoa, hold on, mommy, we hungry. Where your job at? Oh no, baby, I was matching energy because I was standing up for myself. Hold on. Wait a second, guys. Let's be conscious of how we
thinking like a boss.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I don't treat my employees like that. But I hear a lot of conversations where people was like, my spouse was reacting in a way that made me react. Like she said, if I believe that I am at peace because of the way I am responding to the situation. So I think that it needs just a little bit more content, because a lot of people get lost in like, I want to be woke. There's way more to that. Like, you have to have a level of decorum and coof when making these type of what is the word I'm looking for? Stand up protest. We're making these type of protests. Like, I'm gonna need you to evaluate your whole situation.
I mean, there's a way and a time and a place to do everything,
Absolutely, yeah.
But I do think too that there's recourse. Right?
Yes.
There's recourse when you're talking, if you were talking about bosses, right? I'm sorry. First of all, I'm not staying anywhere that my boss is treating me badly.
Yes.
Right?
Thank you.
And that's why when you were talking about the unemployment line, I was like, there's a difference between your boss putting you there and you putting yourself there, right?
Absolutely.
By making a decision to move on, right?
Absolutely.
So
Yes,
absolutely. If I choose to leave a situation, because I'm not going to stay somewhere where my boss is treating me poorly, but there's always some level of recourse, right? Unless you're in a private company or a private business, then you free to move on to the unemployment line, right?
Absolutely.
But my thing is, everybody to some degree has to answer to somebody. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is, your boss may have somebody they have to answer to that you can call a meeting, right? It's not about just cussing them out or matching their energy, right? But bringing them to the table. Sometimes you got to bring them to the table.
Absolutely.
Right.
You have to call people out, boss, whoever, right? But there's a way, like you said, right? There's a way to go about it, because I do feel that that's still some level of self-care to say, this is not okay.
Right.
I don't care what bills you paying up in here. You know what I'm saying? This is not okay.
And do what you have control over. Like, we don't have control over other people and what they do, but you have control over yourself. You have control over removing yourself from an unpleasant environment. If you stay focused on the part that you can't control, you aren't going to do anything but stress yourself out. If you explode, like you said, guess what? You cause your own unemployment. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Take over what you have control over.
That's some good stuff, ladies. Y'all are dropping gems tonight. Get into some of these comments. Hey, Shayna. She's like, I didn't know we were live. She said, hey, everyone.
Hey, Shayna.
Shayna.
And Ziggy said, Ursula, software development is very noteworthy to grow. This is so good. Yeah, Ziggy, your girl is getting into it. So this is for you, Viola. Sound like spiritual self-care. Speaking of that,
listen, I'm here for it. I'm here for it all. Spiritual, social, emotional, physical. I'm here for it. Boom, there it is.
Oh, there it is.
Financial, environmental, yes, intellectual. I'm here for it all.
okay, so we have talked about at least, well, we all but two. So we'll get it, or maybe three, and we can get into that as well if it does come up. But you're right. Looking at this and this slide and getting comments from, there we go, from our tribe vibe in the comment section, it seems like we all are aware of the self-care, and we don't know. I mean, there's people in the chat, so people are wanting to learn as well. It sounds like we're pretty well-rounded. What do you all think?
I think so.
I think so.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
absolutely. So piggybacking on what Dee Dee said a couple minutes ago, first of all, kudos to you for going to see your therapist.
Yes.
Yes.
Right.
That's right.
And I just started back on Monday, so that was exciting.
Kudos to you.
So I want to ask you all, what are some ways that people can take care? What are some things that women can do to take care of their mental health, the self-care of their mental health? We touched on some of it, but was there anything else?
I think you hit it, like attending to it is the first thing, right?
Paying attention.
Because I think a lot of times it's just that thing that we just don't pay attention to. But I tell people, would you hop around on a broken foot? No,
Or
you
going to the
going
doctor.
first, right? You going straight to the ER. You are not hopping around on no broken foot. Most people will not hop around on a broken foot. And I think attending to it, right? When something's off, getting in tune to yourself. I think that we get so busy and we're always doing stuff and we're always moving and we always got the next thing to do and we're always taking on more and more and more and more, that we don't often pay attention to what self-care looks like. Educating yourself, right? If you're feeling a little off, be in tune. All you need to be doing is feeling a little off. Something don't feel right. You don't have to be falling apart, right? Or passing out in order to know. You know what I mean? When you're feeling a little off and you know you're not feeling yourself, start researching. What does this feeling that I feel, right? Feel like? What is this, right? Because a lot of times the mental, the emotional, the physical is all connected. It's all connected. So if I'm working, and I'm physically exhausted, right? Mentally, I'm probably not focused. You know what I mean? Emotionally, I'm probably a little snappy, a little moody. You know what I mean? It kind of all ties in, but just pay attention when one thing is off. You know what I mean? It's a red flag. So I would definitely say just get in the habit of attending to it. And that's whether you go to the therapist or whether you just take some time out. You know what I'm saying? Some downtime to reset, right? Get some rest, exercise, drink plenty of water, whatever it is, right? But yeah, absolutely attend to it.
I think mine would be, it's okay not to be okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. Right? In practicing grace with yourself.
Yeah.
Self-grace it's a huge thing. Like the same grace and compassion that you would want someone else to have towards you, have towards yourself 3 times over.
Imagine that.
Yeah, I like that.
Right? Yeah.
Good. That's some good stuff right there. So we talked about feelings. What do you all say about, especially with Black women, and I'm going to say that because I've been around Black women my entire life. What about the feelings of feeling guilty for practicing self-care? How does
Yeah.
that look? Why do we feel guilty? Why do we push back the feelings of the guilt and just still jump right into the self-care? Meanwhile,
I
we're
mean, you just gotta get
abandoning
over
ourselves.
it.
What'd you
I,
say?
I don't think I'm the right person to answer that question because I don't really care. Self all day.
Well, then that's the
Really,
person I want
no.
to talk to. Go ahead, Aquana. We need to get it, Ross.
You know, I'm a piggyback off of what Brandy Boo said about spiritual, right? So for me,
Yes.
I had a family of 5, right? And I love to cook. And I have my family here and they know, they can vouch for this, that I had like 3 to 5 course meals for my kids. My kids didn't grow up eating McDonald's. They grew up eating good food, right? So I remember now that I'm older and I'm alone, I'm divorced, my kids are grown, off they're living their life, right? And I'm working and I'm eating a bag of chips. I'm starving. I'm starving over here. You know what I mean? And one day the spirit just kind of came in and just like pow, pow, gave me a 2-piece. Like, what are you doing? Right. And I'm like, well, you know, my kids are all grown and everybody's gone. And he's like, oh, so you saying you could cook 3 to 5 course meals
Oh,
the people, right? For
Mhm.
your kids. If a man was here right now, you bet you be up to that stove. You be
Hot sauce with
Right.
your chicken.
right. But when it comes to you eating a bag of chips in a
that's real.
ho-ho. He dealt with me, y'all. I was like, oh, I'm so ashamed. Like, who? How can you love, right, your kids and love your partner, right? And say you love yourself, but can't invest in a 5-course meal for you. Who got time for that? Right? Who got time to be standing at the sofa for one person for themselves? Like, I just don't feel that. You know what I mean? And I'm like, he dealt with me.
You
He
gotta tell yourself you
really
deserve a
dealt with me.
5-course
And I
meal
was
too.
like,
Right.
ooh.
Didi, you over there cooking 5-course meals?
No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. I mean, when she was providing them, I was just eating them.
That's right.
So I didn't learn how to make them, you know. So
She was like, call me when the food is done.
I received them.
She's like, I'm good. I'm gonna be over here chilling, singing, doing some other stuff.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
But as far
But
as the
that was
guilt, I mean, you know, you gotta, when you go on a journey of learning self-care, you
Mm,
start to realize how important it is. And when you start to value yourself, you know, guilt starts to dissipate because you
absolutely.
start to realize how important you are. Like you deserve a 5-course meal too. You know
yeah.
what I mean? So as you
I was
start,
like, I do.
you
I
do.
do. Huh?
So,
I
you
do.
know, going on the journey, the guilt just starts to slowly go away,
Yeah.
you know. But like I said, we're not taught it from the beginning, so it's hard. It's like going against the grain and what
Yes.
you're naturally used to. But
Mm,
keep going on a journey,
mm-hmm.
okay? Because
Mhm.
I'm getting towards quantum. Like eventually it's like, nope, it's important. I'm taking this hour out for
No.
myself. I don't care. I need it. You know why? Because I'm learning to value myself more. I'm learning how important self-care is for me.
Oh,
Yes. And
Mhm.
what's so crazy is you start when you, I'm not gonna say don't care, but care. But when you start not caring, you start, ooh, I probably need to work on this because I'm probably not valuing his self-care. But just thinking about it, right? Since me and my husband's been together, every Sunday he makes fried plantains and an egg for me. That's like our thing, right? So a part of my self-care is respectfully waiting for my fried egg and plantains on Sunday. And when it don't happen, when I tell you it affects my self-care that day. Like, I'm sorry.
Does it affect how you see yourself or how your self-worth?
Absolutely. You don't know what you just did to myself, sir. We good? We got eggs down here. So much so that I don't go to the grocery store no more because I started learning how to use Walmart delivery and Instacart. So much so on Saturday, if I don't see what's needed for my self-care to take place on Sunday, I'm placing an order and the doorbell is like ding dong, 8 o'clock in the morning. Who's at the door? Oh, that's them eggs.
Absolutely. Right?
But it's
Delivered
just,
to the door. Self-care delivered to the
I
door.
don't feel guilty at all.
Right.
At all.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
I don't. I used to feel
Mhm.
some kind of way, but I don't anymore. I don't. It's
Yeah.
something that you do have to overcome the guilt, Ursula. You do.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Story time. May I share a story?
Ooh, yes.
Let me sprinkle a little story.
Go
Okay.
ahead.
So as we're talking and I've been drinking my water, right? And it just
Mhm.
something just sparked in my head. So this glass, okay, this glass probably weighs about 18 pounds.
Ooh.
It's very heavy. So I got this glass, a set of 4. So at my old place where I used to work, a patient for Christmas gave me a 4 set. And the reason why it's so heavy because they're Tiffany glasses. Never had them before. Now, this happened a while ago. So I had to have grace with myself, as we talked about earlier. But about 9 months went by and I never used the glasses.
Mm.
And I'll have some of the other glasses and cups I had. And I'll save those for a nice time, or if I have company over.
There it is.
Yeah.
And I remember I washed some dishes and I put some glasses up right next to this glass. And the sunlight I'm looking at it right now in the window. The sunlight was hitting in the cabinets. Why was there a bunch of dust on the glasses?
Mm.
I said, what the hell am I not using the glasses for?
How are you not special enough to use them?
Right.
But would give them and pull it out if I had company. Well,
Mhm.
apparently by that time the pandemic came around. Oh, I can't say that word on YouTube. The panini came around and no one was walking in my house at all. I was very strict. Viola, you know the conversations we had. For those who do not know, I was very extremely scary of the panini. So no one was coming in here. And I'm
Mhm.
thinking, what is it? So now about a couple years went by. And that's when I saw the dust. And I said, you
Ain't
know
that
what?
something?
Mm.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
I thought about it and it really I really felt like it was coming from a scarcity mindset.
Mm.
Mhm.
Like
Yeah,
you
that
don't,
lack mindset.
yeah, it's like you don't value yourself enough. One, yeah, this is a very expensive, heavy glass, but the reality of it, it's glass. It's not diamonds, it's
Mhm.
glass. And I didn't think that much of myself to drink out of glass.
And it's
Mm.
yours.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a
You
gift.
know, the more that we talk, the more I'm realizing we're talking about self-care, right? But at the root of it, at the root of our ability to overcome or to practice self-care is self-worth. It's
Yes.
really tied to our self-worth and how we value or don't value ourselves.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm.
Because for seriously, say if we had this tribe vibe, this chit chat in person, it would be nothing. Here's a glass for you. Judy, here's a glass for you. Viola, here you go.
Yes, give it here, girl.
And meanwhile, I'm
Yeah.
drinking out of this tumbler. No. So
That's
But
that
No
suburban.
more. We're not
think
doing that
about
no
that
more.
mindset,
Mm.
right? And then
no
you
more.
think about the practice of self-care, right? If we come from that mindset, we can almost probably guarantee that someone who comes from that mindset is struggling with self-care.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yep. Totally
Absolutely.
agree. Totally
Yeah.
agree. All right. So a few more questions I wanted to ask. So we talked about the guilt and how we can overcome it. The funny thing is we all grew up in different households, but we all have the same theme of this self-care or lack of it growing up. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I don't even think I even heard the word self-care in my house ever coming
It
up.
wasn't a
I didn't hear
thing.
that word until I was grown,
Mhm.
right? Even just the word self-care.
Mm.
Mhm.
That's crazy because it's not like it's a like like some crazy
Yeah.
word, right? I don't remember ever even hearing the word self-care in my household coming up.
I
You know?
definitely never heard self and care in the same sentence. Now I heard don't get yourself effed up. Right? You think I care about how you feel? Like, nah, it was not in the same sentence. Mm-mm.
Right.
Right. It wasn't in no positive context, right?
Not at
I don't even
all.
know how to put it in a sentence. I've been told to start saying self-care, let people around you hear you talking about self-care and your self-worth. And I'm like, the next week will come and she'll be like, did you do it? And I'm like, I don't even know how to work it into a conversation. I don't even know how to just bring it up. It's so not in our vocabulary. It's like, do I just walk up to somebody and say, yeah, self-care? Like,
Right.
Exactly.
I'm practicing self care today.
right.
Well,
So,
speaking of that, how would we approach other sisters that are in this movement trying to think about how do we get into this mindset of self-care? We're working on the guilt. What are some suggestions that you all would say to another sister about,
Mm,
hey, your self-care?
I would say
mm,
don't assume that we know what that sister's self-care looks like.
mhm.
absolutely.
Help guide her to her own
Mm-hmm.
understanding of what that looks like. And we can't walk up to somebody and be like, "Oh, girl, you really need to get your hair done. Self-care is where it's at." And she be like,
Yes.
right? It's gonna
Yes.
look different for everybody, right? Where someone else can think about getting their hair done and it stresses them out, right? For
Mhm.
whatever reason, going to the hairdresser can stress them
Mm-hmm.
out. So that wouldn't really be a form of self-care for them. That would be something that is stressful for them. It would be
Mhm.
counter,
Absolutely.
right, to an act of self-care. So I would definitely say don't assume going up to
Mhm.
someone that you know what their self-care routine should look like.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's
these
Right.
good.
platforms like this is good, referring,
Yes.
oh, we did a podcast on self-care. Would you like to see it? Or I'm a student of YouTube University. I'll
Okay.
go on YouTube and be like, how do you practice self-care?
Yeah.
So
I was
it's
gonna say
really,
like a challenge,
yeah,
creating a self-care challenge and asking the
I
tribe
like
vibe to
that.
check in. Like, how can I aid you in practicing self-care today?
Mm,
Mhm.
Oh,
yeah,
Do
that's
I need to take
good.
the baby for a moment? Do I
right.
I have a cousin who's pregnant and also has a baby, and she doesn't have to say I need a moment. I can tell she needs a moment. So it's kind of like,
Mhm,
hey, bring the baby to me for a few hours. And I really don't care what you do with yourself, but you
mhm,
don't got to do it for her. I got that. Let
mhm,
me take that off of you. And that's my
Mhm.
way of aiding you in self-care. But I
mhm,
think learning how to be a vessel for each other, no matter how
mhm,
minute it is. Maybe self-care for you is being able to vent something off your chest and me being willing to listen so that you can vent something off of your chest. Um,
mhm.
just learning how to be a vessel for each other.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Mhm.
I like that.
I do too. I really do.
Yeah.
Wow, this is good. So I want to know in the chat. Oh, wait. Naya said yes to YouTube University. TikTok,
Yes, girl.
TikTok
That technical
technical
college.
college.
I go there too.
Listen, I have a BS in at YouTube University, and I have my master's degree at TikTok Technical College and a doctorate in it. I should say. Let me tell you, I know how to change a tire because of that. I know how to cook an 18-star meal. I know how
Right.
to lay bricks, and I also know how to build a skyscraper. Thank you, social media.
Okay. Right.
Okay.
Yes, utilize those resources.
Exactly, exactly. All right. So,
And then to just add to that, I'm so sorry because Viola, you said something that's very important. Kind of educating yourself and tuning in, right? I'm not feeling well, and I think that when we don't feel good, like if I don't want to go to the doctors, the first thing I'm doing is going to YouTube I have a headache on the left side of my temple, right? And I keep reading until it's like your head is about to fall off. And whoa, hold on. Maybe I should go see a doctor.
Call 911, right?
But educating yourself, utilizing technology, utilizing platforms like YouTube and TikTok, right? So that you don't have to be isolated and feeling like you're the only one.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of
Yeah.
exercises that I do with some of my mentees is let's break it down, because the only thing that's going to help shift your mindset is education. I got to approach you on an intellectual level. I got to speak to you in a language you understand for you to understand what it is that we're trying to grow towards. So utilize Chat GPT if you have to. That's like the walking encyclopedia right now. And I'm not saying take everything that comes from it, but don't be afraid to say, hey, what are limiting behaviors?
Yeah.
Hear from their perspective, and then bite size it if you have to, but be educated enough to invest in yourself.
Right.
You know, now I got something to take to YouTube. Like, how do I get past telling myself I can't do it? And don't be afraid to actually begin to tackle those things. Even if you're telling yourself, I can do one thing a day. You know, I think about when I was growing up, when I was in therapy, I remember my therapist sat me down and she asked me, where do I think I got that mindset of believing I'm not good enough? Right. And now in my head, I'm like, no, excuse me, believing I'm not capable. And in my head, I'm like, I got that. She's like, well, yeah, based off of session A, B, C, D, this is what you said, and clearly, right? So
Let me just check my notes, right?
Let me check my notes. Y'all therapists,
I don't remember saying that.
Okay. And then when she sat it down, and I'm looking back, and I said, we grew up in a very big family, right? And I remember wanting something from the upper cabinet, and I couldn't reach it.
Right.
And I remember my mom saying, you can't reach that. Get out the way and let your cousin get it. She taller. What you just told me was, she's better than me because she's taller than me. That may not have been what you meant, but that's what I interpreted, and that's what I heard, right?
Wow.
Instead of get a step stool and stand on the step stool so you'll be able to reach it. Go ahead and move a chair over there. Make sure it don't wobble so that you don't fall, so you'll be able to reach it. Which is one of the biggest reasons why when I raise my children, there is no limits. By the time you can walk and talk, you picking up a broom, you washing your own clothes. Don't let something be in the cabinet. Hold on, let me put a pillow down there in case you fall. Climb up the cabinet like this. Get what you need and then get back down. And a lot of people will look at me like, you let the kids climb in the cabinet? It ain't as simple as that material thing. It is me telling her she can reach anything that she needs to reach that is within reach. And if it's not, get something to stand on it so you can reach it.
Right.
We're not limiting her.
Yeah,
and I think that's it comes from us being so young. It comes from the things that our parents didn't know, or the people that was caring for us, they didn't know. And unconsciously, they taught us how to limit ourselves, how to value our capabilities. They taught us these things. And it's like, I'm with Dee. New trajectories all day long. I don't care if what goes on in this house don't stay in this house and it incriminates me. Speak, my child. You right. I'm a deadbeat. Let's process that.
Right. Let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it. Okay.
Absolutely. This is a new generation, though. It's different. It's much different.
Yes.
Yeah. But they, like you said, they didn't know back then what they were doing. You know what I'm saying? They were just passing it on from generation to generation. I call it regurgitating the same stuff generation after generation, and not understanding how limiting or stifling or traumatic or what kind of trauma was coming from it. But now, right, we know, so we do better.
Absolutely.
And a lot of them, they operated off of survival.
Absolutely.
And not just figuratively, literally, they were running for their lives. You know, go back 3 generations, which really isn't that long ago, but it was real like that, you know. So kind of going back to what you said earlier, Viola, just because that family heirloom was there doesn't mean we have to carry it and pass it on to our,
But
because
no, take it a step further. We are the heirloom. We are the family jewels.
Yeah.
yeah,
Right? I
girl.
teach you how to take care of Nana pearls and put them in a box and make sure they in the safe, right? But I don't teach you that you are the family jewel. You are the
Right.
family heirloom.
That's good.
That just hit something. That hit something, because I think that that right there, most big families, most big families has endured so many unsafe things, right? In just thinking of like big families and in the Me Too movement, the molestation, and all the different things that are coming to fruition, right? But when you think about the average African American family, somebody has been touching that family, right? And when you think about those jewels that grandma tells you to put up and make sure nobody can touch and make sure they're protected from crackhead Uncle John, but you ain't protect.
Say it.
Right.
That just did something. That hit
That's
something.
what I'm
Say
saying.
it.
That's how deep it is. We're not
Right.
taught. We're taught that the pearls that Nana had, that she got passed on from her grandmother to her grandmother, is more precious, right, and more important than us. And we sit here struggling how to figure out how just to care about ourselves.
Right.
Wow. That is a word. That a tangible item is more valuable than their offspring or their offspring's offspring. That goes back to the podcast that Viola and I did about I forgot the title of it, but it pretty much was toxic family sayings.
Family messages.
Goes on, the messages, and what goes on in this house stays in this house. Child should be seen and not heard. But in reality, bouncing off of what Aquana said, that it our silence protects. I can't say the word on YouTube.
The family heirloom, right? And that heirloom is their legacy, their credibility, right?
Exactly.
That silence is protecting that heirloom, not realizing what that silence is actually doing to the jewel.
Tarnish.
So then so we're definitely going to do a part 2 on this, because I can see this going on. But I'm just going to say one word. That also, while I'm hearing we're talking, I hear the word perfectionism, because someone just said tarnish. So I'm thinking, oh, we can't have anything tarnished. This family needs to look perfect. You know what? Don't say anything.
The family name, honey.
Just put your robe on when Uncle such and such comes on. And we let's do a part 2.
Don't be out here embarrassing me.
I want to share something with you guys before we part. It's been sitting right here, and I'm like, I don't know why I feel the need to share this, right? But okay, we're talking about self-care, right?
Yeah.
There's something very, very powerful that I just really learned, I will say, in the last couple of years. I didn't even know that this thing existed. But when you have a woman standing in front of you that has a baby in her belly, right? What I learned, and this is talking about the 3 to the 3rd generation, right? I learned that you have the woman, you have the baby that's inside of her, and inside of that baby, right, is every egg, right, for the next generation. So when you have a woman standing in front of you, right, when you have a woman standing in front of you, how you treat her is how you affect your children, right, and your grandchildren. I was blown away when I first heard that, right? So, but when you think about it, as a woman, when we're born, we already have all the eggs that we will ever have or carry in life, right? That's why that woman that has the baby inside her has all the eggs that she will ever carry inside her, right?
Absolutely.
So when the way you treat yourself, right?
Mm.
Generation to generation to generation, right? There's something to this generation thing. Not only,
Mhm.
right, because of our eggs are inside of us and those eggs are inside of those eggs, right? Not just because of that, but the role model. When you got your kids looking at you, right, and you're cooking and you're cleaning and you're at this and you're doing all of this stuff and you're not taking a second to value yourself, and you telling your kids, make sure you value yourself, make sure you
Right.
do this, right? I always say you're role modeling. You're telling, but you're also role modeling. You have to show them how you take time out, how you take care of yourself, how you value yourself, how you put boundaries around yourself because you
Mhm.
matter, right? And how
Yes,
people treat you matter, and you can't just let people treat you any old kind of way. You can't just tell your kids to have boundaries and you don't have boundaries. You know what I'm
absolutely.
Right.
saying? You can't just tell your kids to
Absolutely.
take care of themselves and you don't take care of yourself, and you slaving every
Mhm.
day, you doing to the family, right? I'm
Right.
I'm the lamb to the slaughter. You can't.
Mhm.
This is about generations. This is about
Right.
generations. It's not just about you. This is about your kids and your grandkids and people that are looking at you. It
Mhm.
affects more than just you, is what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. Mm.
Uh-oh, I can't hear you. Are you on mute?
Now I'm not. I was on the mute challenge. Yes, Lala. She said it starts with you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So
Mhm.
just how these toxic family traits of this normalized dysfunction, all this epigenetics, it's
Oh,
like
that's
Lala
how I
says,
feel, girl.
yes. Yep, that's another topic we'll talk about. But we do have the power within us, and we're doing it now. People in the
Mhm.
chat, we're in this movement where we can shift and going forward with our other our generations that follows after us. So that's the beautiful part about this self-care is that even though we didn't see it growing up,
Mhm.
we are making shifts so that our generations can see it. And so that'll be
Absolutely.
normalized as well.
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So before we round it out, we'll do a round robin. I'll start with Dee Dee. Dee Dee, question for
Mhm.
you. What is aside from what we talked about? Let's talk about the fun, frilly, foo-foo parts of self-care. What is something you like to practice with self-care?
Self-care for me. I like to sing. A
Hmm,
lot of people don't know that because I'm very shy about it. I don't really do it in front of people.
right.
But if you ask the people that live with me, when I get a moment to myself, I go in my room, I close that door, and I put on my YouTube music, and I'm just in there singing. And for
Mm.
me, that's what I like to do. And, nobody's around, nobody to judge me or make me feel weird about it. I'm just in there singing, and I'll be, like I said, to get things done at the same time, I'll do that laundry or I'll be cleaning up or
Right.
vacuuming. But that's just something fun for me that I
Okay.
do.
I like it. I like it. Viola, let's go to you next. What is something you like to
I
do?
want you to ask Quana because I'm getting ready to grab something that
Okay.
I'm going to show y'all.
So if you're not back, then I'll go. So go ahead, Kwana. What is some of your favorite self-care practices?
Ooh, a pair of clean sheets on the bed. I love clean sheets. It just does something to my body.
Are they cool? There's something about that cool crisp bed
It's just
sheet.
like it can't have. Yes, it is cool. High thread count because I don't want to feel like the lint on there. And then don't laugh at me, guys. But one of my self cares is my feet have to touch bay feet. Like it's weird. Like
Okay.
I have to feel. And it's funny because when I was younger, Lori, I don't know if you remember this, but I used to do this.
Yes.
Yeah. So like, and, girl, let me try that now. My husband be looking at me like I'm crazy. So the only way I can kind of get it off is like I have to like endearment. It's weird because sometimes like I'll take his hand and like yeah, that's my like self care, my little self care stuff. And like I said, Definitely praying. Oh, like I have a prayer room in my home. Don't come in here if you ain't praying. Like I don't want to hear noise. I just want to like it's just me and he. That's it. That is a major self-care thing for me. Like I have to touch it at least once a day. Like no matter how much I'm praying outside of the home, I have to physically go in there and just take all of that energy. And spending moments alone again, you know, even if I'm in the bathroom, and when I mean alone, I'm not scrolling on social media. I'm just like mindfulness, a moment of it at least a day. I just need to debrief and declutter and silence the noise. Those are like my little actions of it.
Okay, I like it. And this is why I said this is all different perspectives. So nothing is right or wrong, but they're definitely entertaining. I like the Go ahead, Lori.
You know, I'm kind of with Quana. You know, I realized that quiet sometimes because I work from home, so I see clients, you know, all day long. I'm doing clients back to back to back to back. And I'll realize it's been hours and I haven't turned on the TV. I haven't turned on the radio. You know, I'm not surfing. I barely get on Facebook or any, you know, really. But I'll notice that I'm just in silence. Silence for me is self-care. Okay. Sometimes the phone will ring and I'm going, and anybody who knows me knows that I answer for my people. You need my phone ring, I answer. But sometimes now I look at it and I'm just going, no, not right now. Some silence for me. But also, I invested in myself. So I brought them all to me. So I wanted to show y'all this. It's big. Yeah. It's big. I don't even know if I can get it in the whole camera, but
is that a back massager?
Yes, it's a back.
Hold on, you all. Keep talking. I'll be right back.
Y'all, I brought them all to me.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, that's right.
I got, when I tell you I had back to back to back sessions today, no breaks, right? I got done and I was like, oh, you got about a little over an hour before you have to do this. Girl, I was like, take it out.
Yeah.
Take it out. It was like, oh, you could do it tomorrow after you end your week. No, something said that's why it's open. The flap, y'all see the flap here? It's out. It's out the box, y'all. Because when I tell y'all, I sat for 20 minutes on this thing and I was like, oh, this is giving me life.
Yeah.
I brought them all to me.
I love it. That's some good stuff. So I want to ask part of our tribe vibe that are in the comments. Can you all put what is some of your favorite self-care practices? Different perspectives. We want to hear from you all as well. So while we wait on that to come in, may I go with my turn?
Yes, girl. Tell us about it.
So what I like to do is play pickleball.
Oh, I've heard of pickleball. What is pickleball?
Pickleball is like a hybrid of tennis, ping pong. Yeah, it's a
like
racket
handball type.
No, you have a paddle.
Okay.
And of course, I am a master coach from TikTok at university. I'm a master. But really, I love playing pickleball. Yeah, I love playing pickleball. Historically, I've always been a racquetball player. And I played for over 20 years and I stopped because of the panini, the C word came and I was not going into a court. So then from there, I went to tennis since it was outdoors and safer. And I just started picking up pickleball. So I love that. That's part of my self-care as well.
I wanted to do this. That sounds exciting.
And one more thing.
You got the massager too?
It's a back massager.
Yes.
I want them all to me. Lift your box up, Lori.
I'm telling you, I was in prepping for 20 whole minutes before I hopped in the shower, y'all, to get on this post. I was like, oh, yes, I needed that. That was some good self-care.
Let me tell
There
you,
go.
I'm not going to say where I got it from because I'm not being paid. I'm not an affiliate, but y'all should get one. And speaking of that, I actually have a neck massager too, and it was
Yes.
so good. And I remember I said, let me put it on my back, my lower back, so I can pinpoint because it has little knobs, and I would lean back into it. Next day, I took a shower. I was like, my back is burning. What is going on?
Did you burn yourself up? Rub yourself Indian burn.
I got a friction burn on my back.
They called them Indian burns, girl, when we was kids. Remember they just nugget you this.
Exactly.
That was a lot of self-care.
Exactly.
Oh, Lala, that's what I'm talking about. Sleep. That's right.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. Believe it or not, that is self-care.
It
That is a
is.
form of self-care.
It is.
Absolutely. Especially when you don't sleep well. Or you don't, you're not intentional about going to bed early. Yeah.
And sleep is important for a lot of things.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, Dee Dee, can you tell everybody where they can reach you at if you have that in your group that is on Facebook?
You can, if you have a Facebook page, you can go on there and search. It's called Moments of Transparency. There's going to be a picture, because I think there's a couple with similar names. There's going to be a picture of women all standing in a line with their hands on each other from the back. So you can go on there, request to join. Women only. I will not accept any men. It's a safe space for us.
Yeah.
We can go on there. We support each other. We vent about our day. We ask for advice. We suggest things for each other. And just post uplifting and support. So you guys can find me there.
Excellent. Viola, can you tell everyone where they can reach you?
I can be reached at eyewitnesscounseling.com. And I always say that's I as in the letter I. So eyewitnesscounseling.com. Yeah, they can reach me there. There's a join us at, join us. Once you go on the website, you'll see the email and it's join us at eyewitnesscounseling.com.
Okay. And Aquana?
I can be reached at aquanaraffington.com. There will be my cell phone number, so I do take calls, as well as emails. But it's like a link tree. aquanaraffington.com. It will link you to all of Aquana's endeavors. And yay, reach out, guys.
I love it. I love it. This has been really good. I knew it was going to be good. We talk like this anyway, so why not share it with everyone? And grow the tribe. That's how I see it.
Absolutely.
I really do.
Sharing the vibe.
And it's in Women History Month, so I think that's definitely monumental.
Oh, I didn't even think about that.
It is.
Thank you.
Very intentional.
Yeah.
That's why Aquana does what she does. See,
I told you. I'm telling you. You thought I was kidding when I said that's why I got you. I got you all day. Listen, that's my boo.
Oh my God. So all the listeners, if you want this to happen again with this tribe vibe, drop a 1 in the chat. If you something valuable that you heard and it was just hit your soul and very valuable, drop a 1 in the chat. If you are celebrating Women's Month, drop a 1 in the chat.
Yes.
If you are a fan of self-care or you just learned about something about self-care, drop a 1 in the chat. We want to hear from you. Thank you, Lala. She said, great show, ladies.
Thank you, Lala.
Thank you, Lala.
Yeah. Okay. There goes the ones. Love it. Okay. Oh yeah, ladies, guess what?
What's going on?
All of you all are Black girls that got their shift together.
Yeah.
This for the queens, sisters manifesting their dreams. Get your cream by any means and beam with self-esteem. Beauty supreme and Buddha walk so mean. The way you fit in them jeans, you eat your cornbread and greens. Dance or a doctor, red wine or vodka. Redesign your spot and redefine your mantra. Retwist your locks and realign your chakras. Doing your squats and getting closer to God, huh? Brunching with your squad or taking a girl's trip. Adjust your crown, you God's gift to the world, sis. Celestial body, drink your water. Meditate, sun-kissed goddess, heavenly order. Levitate, tribe of Ashanti. Black girl magic, melanin popping. Whether you ratchet or lavish, whether you bougie or savage, you a gift and a treasure. You got to love a black girl getting a shift together. Black girls are getting a shift together. These black girls getting a shift together, man. These black girls are getting a shift together. These black girls getting